How to learn new words. On Monday, I go back to school after the weekend. During our first lesson, one student, Emma, raises her hand and says, "I have started reading books to improve my English. It is very interesting, and I think my grammar is getting better. But I have a problem. When I read, I find many new words. I look them up in the dictionary, but later I forget their meanings. Sometimes I see the same word again after just 10 minutes, but I don't remember it. I have to look it up again. What can I do to remember words better?" Our teacher, Mrs. Turner, smiles and says, "That's a great question, Emma. Many students have the same problem. Don't worry, this is normal. Learning new words takes time. When you see a word for the first time, your brain doesn't immediately remember it. Usually, you have to see the word 5 or 6 times before you really know it. For some words, especially verbs or more difficult ones, you might need to see them 10 or even 15 times." Mrs. Turner continues, "Words go through 5 stages before you know them completely. Each stage is important. Let me explain them." The classroom gets very quiet as everyone listens carefully. Mrs. Turner starts to write on the board. The 5 stages of learning a word. The first meeting. This is when you see or hear the word for the first time. You don't know what it means, so you look it up in the dictionary. You might feel like it's a strange word or that you will never use it. The second meeting. You see the word again. You remember that you've seen it before, but you still don't remember what it means. You check the dictionary again. The third meeting. Now, you start to guess the meaning of the word. For example, you might think, "I think this is a type of animal," or "maybe this word is a verb." You are not sure yet, but you have a feeling about it. The fourth meeting. At this stage, you know what the word means when you see it in a sentence. But when you try to speak, you can't remember the word. This is called your passive vocabulary. The word is in your mind, but it's not ready to be used yet. The fifth meeting. Finally, you can use the word in your speaking or writing. The word becomes part of your active vocabulary. Now you can say it or write it without thinking too much. This is the final stage. Why it's okay to forget words. Mrs. Turner looks at Emma and the rest of the class. Do you see now why it's normal to forget new words? Your brain needs time to go through these stages. You can't jump from the first stage to the last stage in one day. You need to see or hear the word many times. Don't feel bad when you forget a word. It just means you're still learning. One of the students, Jack, raises his hand. "Mrs. Turner, how can we help ourselves learn words faster?" Mrs. Turner smiles. "Good question, Jack. There are many ways to practice. You can make flashcards with the word on one side and the meaning on the other. You can write the word in your notebook with example sentences. You can also use the word in a conversation or in your homework. The more you use the word, the faster you'll learn it." Emma nods and says, "That makes sense. I will try to use the new words I learn." After school, when the lesson is over, I think about what Mrs. Turner said. I've always felt bad when I couldn't remember a word after looking it up. Now, I understand that it's part of the learning process. After school, I walk home with my friend Mia. She says, "I also forget words a lot. Sometimes I feel like I will never be good at English. I tell her, Mrs. Turner said it's normal. We just have to keep practicing. Let's try to use new words when we talk to each other. Mia smiles. That's a good idea. Let's try it tomorrow. Football practice. Later that afternoon, I go to football practice. Our coach, Mr. Davis, tells us there's an important match on Saturday. We will play against a school from another town. Mr. Davis says, you all need to practice hard this week. I want to see good teamwork. I feel excited but also nervous. Playing in a match is a big responsibility. After practice, I walk home, thinking about the game. I wonder if I will play well. My friend Ethan, who is also on the team, says, don't worry. We'll do our best. Saturday's match. On Saturday, the weather is sunny and perfect for football. Our team meets at the school field. Mr. Davis gives us a short speech before the game. Remember, this is not just about winning. It's about working together and doing your best. Good luck. The match begins, and I feel nervous at first. But as the game goes on, I focus on the ball and my teammates. We play well, and by the end of the game, we win 3-2. Everyone is cheering and clapping. I feel proud to be part of the team. A lesson about words and life. That evening, I think about the day. Just like learning words, playing football takes practice and patience. You can't be perfect on the first try, but with time, you get better. I decide to keep practicing, not just in football but also in learning English. When I go to bed, I remember one of the new words I learned this week: achievement. I feel like today was a small achievement, both on the field and in the classroom. I'm excited to see what I can learn next.